March of the Machine is coming out just around the corner, and it's Magic's upcoming standard set, and we've gotten some really awesome Planeswalker spoilers in the past couple days through the story. Now, these do reveal some very key details of the story, so if you don't want to know about them, I'd recommend clicking away. But if you want to see the cards, let's jump right into talking about them and why I think they're both pretty awesome Planeswalkers. Starting with Wren and Realmbreaker. It's 1 green for a legendary Planeswalker Wren with 4 loyalty. It says, lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. So similar to like a Chromatic Lantern or a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, it's going to let your lands tap for any color. Then, you can +1 and up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with vigilance, hexproof, and haste until your next turn. It's still a land. Then, you can -2 to mill 3 cards, and then you can put a permanent card from among the milled cards into your hand. And then you can -7, and you get an emblem with, you may play lands and cast permanent spells from your graveyard. Overall, this card seems actually crazy powerful to me for so many reasons. Let's take a look at the abilities kind of one by one. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color is nice. I don't see that being necessarily a super powerful part of the effect, but it is a nice benefit to have. Planeswalkers that come in and are able to protect themselves are pretty powerful. Now, there is a couple things to note about this ability. First off, it doesn't untap the land. So if you're playing Wren and Realmbreaker on turn 3 and then turn one of your lands into a creature, it's not actually a blocker for it. But that's not a huge deal considering this is a 3 mana Planeswalker that comes in with 4 loyalty and then +1s up to 5. That is really, really crazy. It reminds me of Oko, where Oko would start with a huge amount of loyalty and then be able to plus right away. It's not as extreme because it's not a +2, and it doesn't create as good of blockers as something like Oko necessarily did, and it's not, I'm not trying to say this is the new Oko, but I am trying to say it is a little reminiscent with that high loyalty count and the really good abilities. The -2, for instance, is essentially draw a card. The +1 is create a blocker, and the -7 is game winning. That is a traditional Planeswalker that we would have seen at like 5 or 6 mana in the past at 3 mana. Now, you do need to have a little bit of setup for that ult to be game winning. You do have to have a bunch of lands and permanents in your graveyard, but being able to just repeatedly play lands and cast permanent spells from your graveyard will win you the game most of the time. The -2 is great value, and the +1 is not only offensive power, but a lot of defensive power. This is crazy. Alrighty, next up we have Elspeth with Archangel Elspeth. It is 2 white for a legendary Planeswalker Elspeth that enters with 4 loyalty. You can +1 to create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. Alrighty, we have another Planeswalker that has 4 loyalty and then ups to 5, although this one does cost 4 mana instead of 3. You can -2 to put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It becomes an angel in addition to its other types and gains flying. Then you can -6 and return all non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Alright, this seems like just a generically pretty good Planeswalker. I will say there is no card draw aspect. It's not the traditional +1 create a blocker, -ability draw a card, ultimate wins the game. But in the right deck, this can be crazy, especially something like a counters-based deck. You're going to be able to really take advantage of the counters. There's a lot of different applications for this. The 1/1 with lifelink essentially ups your life by 2 because not only do they have to hit Elspeth for an additional loyalty to kill her, but you also have to get through a 1/1, but you also have that 1/1 have lifelink, and then can become a 3/3 angel with flying pretty quickly. This just seems like it's pretty good all around, and at 4 mana, it is pretty low costed. So I expect this to be a card that you see once in a while. I don't think it's necessarily as powerful as, Wren and Realmbreaker, but it is still a very, very cool card, and I think it's going to fit in a lot of places. It's also not that far off of the ultimate ability. I mean, starting at 4, then going up to 5, then going up to 6, then ulting. It is a little bit of, time, but in the right deck, like in a mono white, go wide aggro deck, this could be an awesome finisher, and maybe in a control matchup, if, your opponents aren't running away to deal with Planeswalkers, this could be a way to, resurrect your entire board. I could see this being used in a lot of really interesting ways, and I am very excited to see it in game. Alrighty guys, that is it for this video. I thought I'd do a little bit of something different where I just talk about some cards that were revealed. They're both really, really awesome. March of the Machine spoilers are starting up soon, so stay tuned on my channel for more details about the mechanics and the set overall. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.